still.
The two Rons, the two Rons.
Somebody told me that his name was...
I grew up in a place called Heathmont out in the eastern suburbs of Melbourne, a beautiful little leafy village. And as a kid growing up, it was such a great place to be. That was surrounded by bush. The main road was Canterbury Road, and it still is, but Canterbury Road then only had one lane going that way and one lane going that way. These days you've got 3 lanes going this way and 3 lanes going that way, and good luck with trying to get across the road. Where these 3 houses are, that's where I used to live. Not in the 3 houses. I lived in a white weatherboard house that my mother built with her father way back. My father couldn't help because he was very sick as I was growing up, and he died by the time I was 13 years old. But Heathmont was such a magnificent place to live as a kid, surrounded by bush, great to ride your bike around in, really safe. You could skip across Canterbury Road back in those days. But you had 3 milk bars down there which you could buy all your mixed lollies and your Scanlon's footy cards and all that sort of stuff. It was an iconic sort of little place to live. And there's some iconic people that lived here too. 2 of them were sportsmen. These iconic sportsmen had the same name, Ron. The first Ron's a guy by the name of Ron Clark, and Ron Clark was an amazing middle distance runner. In fact, in his time, he broke 17 world records. And he lived over the back fence and 1 street away in Royal Avenue in this house that you can see behind me. But not only was he a great middle distance runner, he was also chosen as a 19-year-old to light the Olympic torch at the MCG in Melbourne at the 1956 Olympic Games. So that's Ron Clark. The second Ron is a guy by the name of Ron Barassi. Probably heard of him before. Ron Barassi is a legend when it comes to VFL and AFL footy. Now, Ron Barassi lived over my front fence and a couple of streets away, right here in the boulevard in this house that you can see behind me. Ron Barassi captained Melbourne to a number of premierships back in the 60s. He went on to become an incredibly successful coach. He is an icon in footy. So we've got 2 icons, Ron Clark and Ron Barassi. They both lived in Heathmont at some stage. They're both icons in their sport. But there's something else that ties them together too. My mother. You see, my mother was a district nurse for the Royal District Nursing Service, which used to be the Melbourne District Nursing Service, which is now something else. I don't even know what it's called anymore. But she used to drive this little grey Cortina that they gave her, and she had this grey coat and this funny looking hat that she used to wear, but that's what nurses did back in those days. And my mother was very good when it came to driving forward, but not so good when it came to backing out of driveways. And it just so happened that because we lived on Canterbury Road, a lot of people used to go for runs along here. It was a really good spot to have a run, lots of hills, all that sort of stuff. And 2 of those people just happened to be Ron Clark and Ron Barassi. Now here's the deal, this is why they have this in common. Within a 2-week period, my mother nearly ran them both down back and out of the driveway. First of all, Ron Clark, he had to dodge out of the way, and his wife had to dodge her bike out of the way because she used to ride in front of him. And the second time, Ron Barassi, who had to actually jump to get out of the way.
So it was your mother who nearly ran me down.
Sorry, Ron. After that, we made Mum back into the driveway and drive out in the morning too, because there was still some icons left in Heathmont at that stage.